5 Bothell NURS students went out to the community of Marysville over a period of 3 days. Assessment of the communities were made through observation and interviews of community members. Our first thought was Marysville was a fairly small city. It seemed like the city center was only about 3 miles long and most of the city revolved around various mom and pop shops lining State Street.
You know, we wanted a single family home that we could afford. That if I was the only one working, because, my daughter was 8 months old when I started at the hospital.
So if you don't mind me asking, how much did you buy this house for?
I think we originally bought it for about $180,000.
How much do you think it's worth now?
I think our last estimate was like $330,000, $340,000, something like that. So house prices have gone up, but probably not as much as around the Seattle area.
I thought it was really interesting how you can see a lot of homes interspersed within new developments. So it seems like they're trying to build a lot of new shops and things, and you can see like that a lot of these places used to be neighborhoods because the homes that are here are really old.
But as far as feeling safe, I don't know. There's been, like the house behind me it's been a rental house all these years, and there's been a lot of different renters and stuff, and I know that the lady next door has had to cut her bushes back and stuff because people hide underneath the trees that hang way down and found needles and things like that. And I know at one point they had a drug raid at this house behind us. Nobody's ever bothered us from the house behind us, but just the fact that they're right there. And
So when you were homeless here, where'd you stay at?
On the streets.
Oh, you was on the streets here?
Yeah, no, I didn't do the shelters because I thought there was too much theft and too much violence.
Oh, okay.
More so than out on the streets.
Yeah.
At least out on the streets, I know what to look for.
Yeah.
When I'm inside somewhere, I'm expecting to be safe.
Do you think there's a big homeless population here?
Yeah. Yeah. I think between Arlington and Marysville, they got more than in the Smoky Point, got more than ever does.
Oh, really?
They just don't know it.
Oh,
No.
okay.
You have to go to the shelters, but what they're going to do is they're going to try to bring you inside. A lot of people's not ready for that. So or at least what I wanted, was a decent tarp, a sleeping bag, and a pair of boots, breeches, and a decent coat. And then I was good to go.
Yeah.
And then I would figure out where to stash it or keep it on me, and so I could go look for work if I had to.
Yeah. Okay.
There's a community transit route that, so actually you could get to, the listed times where you can get to Everett Community College in like 10 or 12 minutes.
And it seems like the main transportation is like bus stops. Buses, since I think the bus system just goes right along this route. There is one school district in Marysville. According to the Marysville School District website, there are 10 elementary schools, 4 middle schools. One of them is actually located on State Street. The district also included 8 high schools, Marysville-Pilchuck High School being one of the better-known high schools. Many of the other high schools specialize in different areas of interest.
My kids go to this high school called Marysville-Getchell, which is kind of they got like 4 trade schools. So it's like business and construction, and I think a lot of kids get like Microsoft certification, and so I think there's a lot more opportunity now than there used to be. It used to be kind of a one high school town, and now it's they had to expand.
During our trip to Marysville, we found a nonprofit organization that provides services to homeless women.
This is our entryway where we will generally greet somebody out here who usually we're kind of avoiding drop-ins right now, and we're going by appointment only. We'll meet with a woman and find out her living situation, what she needs as far as resources, help, that kind of stuff. And the HR project we have, oddly enough, right here, when we started it, it was protect and defend the vulnerable, which is the women and children. We want to have an education campaign, a public safety, and a public health. So Women at the Well deals with the women and children who are on the verge of homelessness or are living homeless, but their children go to school here, so they have skin in the game, they live in this area. We've just started for education Irma's Way, which is a campaign for the middle school students. We have Totem Middle School right across the street here. So they are 6th and 7th graders, and many of them are living homeless, which isn't walking on the street and sleeping, in the gutters, but their mom and dad don't have a regular place to stay. So they're going to school here, but they're staying in different places. So we've started Irma's Way, which is an after-school program for the middle school students. We'll have time where we work with them to get their grades up. We promote their attendance, but then we're just there as a mentor to say this living this way right now isn't permanent, it's temporary, and things are going to get better. And through that, then we hope that people will come for Women at the Well, their families, so that we can offer them services. We have a washer and dryer, we have showers, we will make them a meal, sit and get to know the whole family. And then this is the money maker for everyone. This is the shower. When you're living homeless, a hot shower is like, I've had women just cry. I say, step in, I've got your towels, your shampoo, everything in there. It's gonna be really hot, very powerful shower. Take as long as you want, and they'll just cry, because a hot shower is sometimes something that they haven't had in a long time. Our community is struggling with the opioid addiction and drug addiction. The problem with having the events of we're going to have a feeding, we're going to give out clothes, we're going to give out sleeping bags, I feel is equipping them to stay homeless. And they don't need to be equipped to stay homeless, because that will lead to their death. The life that they're living on the streets. They might not freeze to death, they might not starve to death, but they're living on the streets because of bigger problems. So I don't think it's a drug problem. I think they have problems, and the drugs cover their problem. We want to get out there and find out what made you turn to drugs. Why do you think living addicted and on the streets is okay? Why are you allowing yourself to live this life? Here's how we can help.
If you were to impact the community in one way, what would that be?
That would be that the generation of the kids in the schools now see a different world of what Marysville is right now. Homelessness, addiction, the crime, that kind of stuff, the uncertainty. Our hope would be that this pattern is broken, and that the kids who are right now in middle school and younger are going to know a life of no suffering, no losing relatives to drug addiction. We would love everyone to have their families together. A lot of families are torn apart from what happens when you're addicted to drugs. So restoring hope, restoring families, that's our biggest push.
Not only are nurses advocates for our patients, but we can also be advocates for our community. We can help by letting our voices be heard. Here's a list of government politicians and representatives that can impact changing a community for a safe place to live.
Hi, I'm Mayor John Nearing of Marysville. Under my leadership, we've balanced our budget with no new taxes, decreased crime by 15%, and improved the traffic flow in Marysville. We're working to create family wage jobs in Marysville, revitalize downtown, and increase our parks and trails. I'm proud of the hard work we've done to make sure Marysville retains its small town feel and excellent quality of life. I'll keep working hard to create an even brighter future for Marysville.
Rick Larson serves on the House Transportation and Infrastructure Committee and the House Armed Service Committee. These committees enable Rick to focus on creating jobs and opportunities to meet the local needs of Northwest Washington. Maria Cantwell has previously served in the House of Representatives and a politician since 1987, has been a proud advocate for better educational opportunities for children across the state. Patty Murray. Born and raised in Bothell, Washington, she was first elected to the Senate in 1992, becoming Washington's first female U.S. Senator. Jay Inslee. In 2017, he signed the Patient Safety Act, a collaborative effort to strengthen nurse staffing committees and staffing plans for nurses and hospitals across the state. Some other top accomplishments include investing $700 million in mental health funding and reduce homelessness for both adults and children. Overall, we observed Marysville to be a relatively healthy community as evidenced by several areas of new development, indicative of financial stability, and the presence of parks, resources for the homeless, churches, and other community centers, and access to transportation. However, a common thread of addiction, homelessness, and crime mentioned by the citizens of Marysville exposed the city as one still plagued by instability. As nurses, we are coming away from this project with a reiterated understanding of the importance of not only assessing the patient's physical condition, but also their community safety and support. Where a person lives does change a great deal. It is our responsibility as patient advocates to tailor our care to the person, a practice that includes asking the hard questions about the community and using this information to point them in the direction of support if needed. Thank you for watching.